All right, everyone. Well, this week I thought we'd do something another cool trick with animation inside Photoshop. And what we're going to be doing is taking this image of this car. This is my Mini Cooper that Scott Kelby shot for me. And what I want to do, what I thought would be a cool idea, is to animate the various colors that this car comes in over time, almost as like an animation. It fades in from one color to the next, almost as if this were going to be on the main website, and it just wanted to animate through and show you the various colors this one car comes in. So we're going to do that real quick here, and I want to use the actual colors that Mini Coopers come in. So what I need to do is go and refer to the website. So let's go. I've already got it opened up here to the page. It's miniusa.com, and I've got the page open here where the various color swatches are that you can get get Mini Coopers in. So leaving that page open, I'm going to go back into my Photoshop document, and I'm going to grab my eyedropper tool here in the toolbar. And this little trick to sample colors outside of Photoshop, I'm just going to click in my document. It doesn't really matter where. If I click and drag it around, you can see it sampling all over the area. But if I don't release my mouse and drag it out of my Photoshop document into the browser, now it's sampling the colors in my web page. So I'm just going to sample this first swatch here. There it is as my foreground color. Go in here into my swatches panel, click, and we'll add it, and we'll call it Mini Color 1. And we'll do the same with the others. So we'll get this red color here. And again, we'll save it. Mini Color 2. Now I'm only going to do 3 colors in this case because going through every single one of these would probably take longer than I really want to spend on this video. So let's go ahead and choose this blue color here. And we'll go ahead and click and save that, and we'll call it Mini Color 3. So we've got 3 colors sampled. So we'll go ahead and minimize this page, and let's go ahead and animate this color in here. What I'm going to do first is create a new blank layer. And on that layer, I'm going to use my pen tool here and generate a selection of the area of the body that we want to colorize. Now I'm not going to worry about these sidewalls and the roof here because it's black, so we just want to worry about the color area. So I'm going to start then my path there and just draw this through. And we'll just click and drag. If you click and drag, you'll get the little curved path there, allowing you to go around tight corners. And we'll just drag that there. Incidentally, while I'm doing this, I will mention, if you are at all curious about the pen tool or wanted to really get in depth with how it works and all that, I've got a new course. It's going to be going up on Kelby Training, or Kelby Online Training here in the next couple weeks. It's called Mastering the Pen Tool. All about pen tool, vectors, paths, shape layers, all that kind of stuff in Photoshop. But, as I digress, we're getting around to the other side of the car here. Clicking and dragging. What I'm doing to close the path, because if I just click another path, it's going to give me that curved line. You just simply Option or Alt click the last point, and it closes it in like that, giving you a straight edge or a straight corner. And we'll just come up around in here, go around the light, and then we'll close that shape up. So now I got a path that defines the area of the car. I'm going to go ahead and load it as a selection by pressing Command Enter, Command Return, or that would be Control Enter on a PC. Now I'll load it as a selection. Then on that blank layer, I'm simply going to press Shift Delete to bring up the fill dialog, and we're going to use 50% gray. It really doesn't matter what color you fill it with because we're going to be writing this up as a layer style. So this color, this original fill color, really doesn't matter. So we've got all our colors sampled, so let's go and apply layer style. So I'm just going to double click on the layer icon, and we're going to set a color overlay. And what I want to do is get my color picker here. Oh. We're going to click on this swatch to open up the color picker and just go over here and sample the colors that we sampled. So let's get that first beige color. Click OK. There it is right there. And there it is filled into the shape. But I'm going to change the blend mode to overlay. Now, didn't make a change because you got to do one more thing. Remember, we filled the original layer with gray. And what you need to do is go over to the blending options. I'll move this out of the way so you can see. Inside the blending options, simply drop the fill opacity to 0, not the overall opacity. That affects the entire layer. The fill opacity will render the original pixels it'll determine the opacity of those. So we're going to drop that all the way down to 0, and now that beige color works good. So there's a before and after. So now we've got that color set. Let's open up our animation timeline and go down here. So we've got that layer style set. So I'm going to go ahead and click a keyframe on the 0 mark at the start point here. Then let's expand our time. Let's see how long we're dealing with here. 25 seconds is longer than I need it to be. I'm going to go ahead and make it 10. And let's zoom in here a little bit. I'm going to go take this to the 1 second, or actually the 2 second mark. My playhead. Just drag the playhead over to the 2 second mark here. And I'm going to go in here. Well, we want to go ahead and set a keyframe. We want it to stay that beige color until it gets to the 2 second mark. So I'm just going to click in between these two arrows here in the timeline. That little diamond shape there will pop a keyframe in that's the same properties as the last keyframe you applied. So now it's staying that color all the way for the 2 second mark. Now I'm just going to nudge this ahead just a few frames, and then we're going to go back into that color overlay layer style, and now we're going to change the color to the next one, which is this red color right here. Choose that, click OK, still in overlay mode. There's the coloring. Click OK. So now when we take this and drag it through, it goes through the beige color, and then it should fade into the red. Just like that. And then we'll go to the next mark, 4 second mark here. Put in a keyframe of the current state. Take it ahead a few frames. Go back into the layer style. Click on the color to open up the color picker. Choose that last swatch. Still an overlay. Color looks good. Click OK. So now it fades into, goes from the beige or the off-white to red, right on to blue. And you can just keep doing this with numerous colors. However many colors there were in there, you can just go up there and do it. Now noticing when it changes certain colors, the handle's getting colored and don't necessarily need that. Maybe there's a little color going into this light here. No problem. We'll just create a little layer mask and just paint in. Brush is a little big. Make my brush really small, make it kind of a hard edge. I'm just doing my shift right bracket. And we'll just paint into that handle. And the beauty of this is all the animation is contained within the layer style. So I'm just affecting the original pixels on the layers to what's visible or not. So then the change will be global across the entire animation. See how that looks. So I'm just going to take it to the beginning of the timeline and hit the space bar, and it'll render the frames out, as you can see indicated by the green line here. And when it cycles through and finishes rendering the frames, it'll play it through at full speed, and we'll see what we get. Actually, let's go ahead and narrow. I've got it set to 10 seconds, so I'm just going to narrow the work area to where my keyframes are, and we'll just play it through. It goes through, transitions, and transitions through. Now, if you find the transition between the colors is a little too abrupt, just simply space out the keyframes a little bit. And that'll lengthen the time it takes for the transition. Let's see what we get there. So that's a little bit more subtle as opposed to this one. See, that was really quick. But you have complete freedom to play with it, and you can always go in here and change the colors. So one last thing I want to show here, if I decide that I don't necessarily want it to change to this red, just go to that keyframe, use these arrow keys to toggle to the keyframes, then just go into that layer style and change the color. Maybe I want it to go to really crazy green color, perhaps. Click OK. There, it's done. Flows right in. Of course, we got to change the other keyframe where we set the current state, and just go in there and change that color as well. And there you have it. I think my greens are a little bit different, but I think we'll be all right. Travels through, goes to the blue. So, quick and easy way to add interest to a photo, or perhaps and it could be good for a web banner or web ad or something like that, or just a regular website, just showing different color changes and things like that. So, give it a try and experiment with different settings yourself. See what you can come up with, and we'll see you next time.